December the 7th, 1941, Japs bomb Pearl Harbor was all the headlines. The world changed that day. President Roosevelt declared war on Germany and Japan. Germany had taken most of Europe and was bombing England and threatened to take England. Winston Churchill had been pleading with the United States to join him in fighting Germany. Now, Joseph Kennedy, who's Jack Kennedy's father, was our ambassador to England. Joseph Kennedy was opposed to us getting into the war. When the Japs bombed Pearl Harbor on December the 7th, 1941, and destroyed most of our Navy, and killed hundreds of Americans, maybe thousands, the rest of that story's history. Now back to Glenwood. Mom's having a hard time paying the bills, putting food on the table. Dad was sick a lot that year. Ken went in the Army in 1942. Guy and Catherine got married that year. I was 16 and Jackie was 18. We both quit school and got jobs at Carter Fabric. That's a textile mill. Guy and Cat already worked there. But anyway, Jackie and I went to work there. I made $18 a week. That was 37.5 cents an hour. They paid us every 2 weeks. When Jackie and I got paid, we would sit down at the kitchen table and take Mama's bills and pay all the bills that we could. We got paid every 2 weeks, so you didn't have to pay all the bills on payday, but if you could pay half of them, you pay half of them the next week. So it was our turn. Guy and Ken had been able to do that before, but now Ken's in the Army, and the Army is paying $50 a month. They give him $22, but they send $28 home to Mom. And when I went in, of course, it was the same with me. They gave me $22, and they sent home $28 to Mom. That was $56 for her, and that was a big help to her. A lot of boys from Glenwood were going in service then, and I wanted to go in. I couldn't wait. When you were 17, you could get in the Navy if your parents would sign for you, and I begged and begged, but Mama wouldn't sign for me. Jackie and Janie and Nita were working at the surf room at the King Cotton Hotel. That's a place that serves beer and sandwiches. It was a good place for soldiers to meet and have fun, and they both worked there. They started going with these neat-looking soldiers with these shiny jump boots on. They were paratroopers from Camp McCall. And I saw those paratroopers doing shiny jump boots. I said, that's for me. As soon as I'm 18, I'm going to join the paratroopers. I had a good friend in Glenwood named Gene Bolick. Gene was a little younger than me, 3 or 4 months, but anyway, the day I was 18, I went up to register for the draft. Gene decided he'd go with me. He just lied about his age. So we both registered for the draft and volunteered for induction. We thought we were going to fight that war side by side till it ended. Didn't happen. He went to Camp Blanding, Florida, and I went to Camp Wheeler, Georgia. We didn't see each other again until after the war. Camp Wheeler is an infantry basic training camp in Macon, Georgia. I had to go there for 17 weeks before I could go to jump school. I liked the Army just fine. Growing up in Glenwood had been a help to me. I had my part of the street fights, boxing the Golden Gloves, box at Peck School at night. We had a recreation department there. I remember boxing up there quite a bit and basically having a really great time. We also had a boxing ring in Gilbert Archer's backyard. It was a regulation size boxing ring, big ropes and everything, and the blacks from across Freeman Mill Road and the whites from Glenwood would meet in Gilbert's backyard. He was right at Freeman Mill Road. We liked each other. It wasn't that we didn't like each other, but the whites would stay on one side and the blacks on the other. You'd pick out a black boy that you wanted to fight. Didn't weigh anybody. You just looked at him. If you wanted to fight him, you'd go over and ask if he wanted to box. And if he did, you'd get your name put on the book. And then they'd call your name in a little while. And you were going to box. Everybody would throw a few coins in. You might get 35 cents or 50 cents. But the winner got the money. So we did that for quite a while till it got a little bit out of hand. And the police were afraid we might have problems, so they made us quit that. I remember Bob Oakley and Gene Gottschalk were the adult advisors at night at Glenwood and also for the ball games in the afternoon. My very favorite person that worked for the recreation department was Maddie Beasley. I just loved her. She made me feel like I was really important. Sometimes I didn't think I was important, but she always made you feel like you were important. And with this background, it was pretty good for me when I went in the Army. I liked to box, and when I went in the Army, Lieutenant Smith came around looking for people to box, and so I started boxing at Camp Wheeler while I was taking my basic training. I boxed almost once every week. I know when I'd be out in the field and I'd see Lieutenant Smith's Jeep coming, bumping across that field, he was coming to get me, to take me in so I could have an early dinner and a shower and lay down and rest a little while so I'd be ready to box that night. When my buddies would come in, they'd really rib me because they had walked in 5 miles and I had rode in with Lieutenant Smith, and I was all taking a nap and had already had supper, and it was great. Anyway, I know they liked me because I could hear them cheering for me during the fight. I think I won all my fights at Camp Wheeler. I think. I cannot remember losing any of them. But anyway, I was pretty popular in my platoon and got along great with everybody. I know one night when I was boxing, I knocked a guy out for the 10 count. It's the only time I ever knocked anybody flat out for the 10 count. But anyway, it come out in the paper the next day. In the headlines on the sports page in the camp paper said, Smith KO's Tesh. And so I was really strutting my stuff around there for a day or two about that. Anyway, when the 17 weeks were over, I stayed there a few weeks waiting to go to Fort Benning to jump school. The others that I took basic training with at Camp Wheeler went right overseas while I was at jump school. That's when the Normandy invasion happened, D-Day, as it was called, and most of my friends that I took infantry basic with made that D-Day landing as an infantryman. And I know of several that got killed. One of my close friends was a red-headed fat boy named Skaggs from Kentucky. I wrote about him in my other book. But he got killed that day on the beaches of Normandy.